Hey guys, Derek here. So today we're going to be talking about, is the Pimax 8KX good for room scale VR? And I completely forgot to film an intro video, which is why I'm sweaty and doing it now. And everything also is filmed on the Pimax 8KX microphone, so you get an idea for what it sounds like. Yeah, let's get into it. Alright, so we're in Creed Rise to Glory, and I think this is going to be a really good test because if you can do all of like boxing style of maneuvers, odds are you're going to be fine in any other game you play. So I'll just give an example here about like how it stays on your head either through punching or through like a dodging movement. Right? So there's no feeling of it coming off of your head really. So don't mind me being out of breath here, but when you're seeing this headset from the outside, it's deceivingly large in comparison to how it feels on your head. And I noticed this when like my girlfriend's playing Beat Saber or something. I'm like, the thing's like half the size of her body. But really, it doesn't actually like feel that way either. Like I don't feel like, you know, I don't feel like I can't do anything. So like again, like the swooping underneath. Now I'm not like a boxer, like a fast at doing this, really by any means. Like I could squat down, I can jump, you know, and still be perfectly fine. And same with like jolty motions. It doesn't like come off my face at all, even though my body's jolting forwards. So yeah, in Creed Rise to Glory or boxing games, fast-paced games, same thing with ping pong, like swooping over. I was doing 11 table tennis, but you have to use parallel projection for whatever reason in that one, but I'm already out of breath. But yeah, in ping pong, it was perfectly fine. Boxing, I still think this is the best test to do it with because, again, a lot of potential for head movement. Backwards, forwards, jolting, that sort of thing. Again, it still stays, you know, it still stays right on my head. There's no worries there. Okay, so completely changing directions here. I'll say why I'm including this game or this style of game in this, even though it's like a room scale VR testing. Technically, you're supposed to play this seated, but this is Moss. This is actually such a cool freaking game, despite, you know, on a monitor and whatnot, it looks so normal and boring, but like, really, this is a really, really cool experience, this game. So, anyways, I felt the need to include this in the room scale VR testing because this is probably, like, I've raced for, like, you know, I've been in the sim rig for, like, 5-6 hours. I've done an hour of Pavlov. I've done, you know, a bunch of different VR games for very long periods of time. But something like this, where I'm constantly, maybe if I stand sideways, hopefully that's the camera, where I'm constantly like this. All right, so this is the only, and again, this is going to be different for other people, and this is going to be different for how long you play. But in a game like Moss, a game where your head is permanently down, like if I'm like looking straight up, I'm losing, actually, the lenses are so big, I see the floor. But again, like if I'm looking at the floor, I'm tilted down. So in games like this, where my head's down the entire time, I do notice after about 30, maybe 45 minutes or so, that my neck is starting to get, you know, it is a bit front heavy. So my neck is starting to get a little bit tired. I'm lost. I thought I was supposed to pull this. Maybe I already pulled. I don't know if I already pulled that, and that's a checkpoint. But let's see if we can take out this guy real quick. Nice. So yeah. So a room scale. I don't know if you guys would technically categorize this a room scale game. But ow, you're okay, buddy. But this is one that I do notice after a while that my neck does start to get a little bit sore. So I figured I'd include it for anyone that, I don't know if anyone buys VR specifically for Moss, but with your head down a lot of the time. So I guess that's something to kind of be aware of. Again, I'm perfectly fine right now, and again, when I'm racing and everything, I go for like 5 hours, no problem. So, but again, in this game, I did kind of notice it. So, something to be aware of, if a game involves you to look down the majority of the time, this headset is a bit front heavy. And again, for me specifically, it takes a while for it to get sore, but I do notice it. I was playing about 45 minutes of this, and I felt like my neck was getting a little bit sore. So, I figured I'd include it anyways. So, let's go on to our next test. Okay, guys, so next test here is going to be Pavlov. And I think this is a really good one to show for a couple of reasons. One, is it comfortable to play? And two, here, let me reset my standing view. Just so I can face the camera, because typically I do face away from my monitors when playing. Oh, whatever. I can turn around if I need to. Pavlov, fun time TDM on data center. What could go wrong? So, I want to show Pavlov. I don't know if this is an enemy already. Oh, it is. That's great. I just want to get my buy menu open. The reason I want to show Pavlov is, like, obviously it's a pretty comfortable game in this headset. I'm not even going to be able to buy my stuff. This is... Welcome to Pavlov. I'm just trying to make a video here. Oh, I already bought that, and I've died 3 times trying to pick my gun. Come on. Give me that red dot. I'll work with it. Okay, now we're ready. So, I think that the Pimax AKX is going to be really good for Pavlov, actually. In fact, it may be... I know that the Valve Index is kind of... What the frick, man? I think we got him. And I want to say that this is a really good game, or a really good headset for Pavlov because of the FOV. Because you get to see so much of the game. In comparison, like when I tried playing this game with the G2. Wow. When I tried playing this game with the G2, not only did the tracking like just completely suck at the bottom position. What's up, boys? But the FOV obviously was, I wouldn't say limiting, because I guess, the Valve Index, I'm assuming most people that play Pavlov are going to be on a Valve Index. That seems like the staple for getting into high-end PC VR, and also, providing that lighthouse tracking, which, the inside headsets don't. The Quest 2 tracking was absolutely phenomenal, but again, more touching on the testing for this. I don't want to get, too carried away in, nonsense talk. But the FOV in this, it's not only more immersive, but I legitimately think it's an advantage. And I say that this headset, too, for, like, iRacing, whatever racing game you're playing, what's up? Is I legitimately think it's an advantage. Not only like a luxury to be able to drive in and to play in, but an advantage, right? The FOV is humongous, and in racing, like, I mean, on a monitor, I completely suck. But in here, I actually feel like I kind of know what I'm doing in terms of racing. Oh, that's an enemy. So like seeing cars beside you, not even with turning your head, you can see out both windows really. So there's that awareness factor that comes into play not only in racing but in Pavlov, but also that natural feeling, right? Of, not that 2D image, but that 3D image, and that's why I went with this instead of a super ultra wide, which I was considering for racing. But that's besides the point. This is Pavlov. We're just doing a room scale test. I can't go one VR video without talking about simming instead of what the video is supposed to be about. I'll do one more life on Pavlov here. Again, but like my field of view, obviously I cropped it so you guys don't see everything I'm seeing. You just see basically just enough of what I'm seeing. So, all right, we'll end it there. I got roasted. I was gonna shoot myself, but apparently I can't even do that. All right, guys, so that's Pavlov. Again, the field of view is incredibly immersive, but in a game like this, come here. Oh, come on, for the video. For the video. Yes, let's go, baby. Let's go. Oh. Anyways. Maybe I'll let's do some Pavlov streams. This is kind of fun. Anyways, let's back out of that. So Pavlov's perfect. Leaning like this, if you're going around, is perfect. If you're the type of guy that gets really into it, going prone on the floor, I have not tested yet. Despite, you know, being the prone gamer. Yeah, FOV in this, I think it's actually going to be a bit of an advantage. If you're, I don't know if serious Pavlov is a thing, but I think, especially like the 5K Super that has 180 hertz, if it has, I think it has almost as wide of a FOV as this. I always use large FOV. I could legitimately see it being an advantage. You know, just like on PC FPS games, we like up our field of view versus like what console players use, and it's the same type of thing. Not that I think the other headsets are necessarily a disadvantage. Obviously, you can get used to whatever you're playing. But at first glance, the immersion's there and the field of view is there for something like Pavlov. But yeah, so that's Pavlov, and we're going to do one more test here today. Alright guys, so we're here in Beat Saber. Obviously can't make a room scale video without doing a Beat Saber demo. This involves a lot of good head movement, arm movement, so like, you know, does the headset stay firm on your head? And of course, like I said at the beginning, if it does in boxing, I think it's going to be perfectly fine for everything else. And I can touch on one point that I haven't talked about yet, is heat. And to be honest, I've seen people talk about heat in the G2. I've seen people complain about it in like the Vive Pro, the Quest 2. Literally every VR headset I've played, I've never had a heat issue. I don't know if that's just me, and I play longer than anyone I know too, so I don't have any heat forehead issues in the Pimax 8KX, nor did I in the G2. I sold the G2 actually, so sad to see it go. I wanted to make a few more comparisons videos, but I just couldn't go back. Oh frick. Again, I'm not a Beat Saber guy, so this is about as hard as it gets for me. Hopefully we get some of the walls soon so I can kind of show some movement, but secretly been up till 3 AM every night playing this exact song to ace it for the video. I've been in the lab. Actually, I have been playing the lab. The archery game's really fun. But yeah, you guys get the point. I don't think that there's any heating issues. I don't think there's any problem for this headset, despite its massive size. And sure, it's a bit heavier, but for me personally, it's fine for all my room scale stuff. Again, I typically sim, but that's besides the point for today's video. If you're interested in the Pimax 8KX specifically for room scale though, I think you're potentially gonna waste some money if you don't sim in it. I think it's designed with sims in mind, flying, racing, that sort of stuff. But not to say that you can't do room scale in it. It's still really, really good at room scale. And again, something like Pavlov, maybe Onward or other shooting games, there's the case for it legitimately being an advantage with the FOV. I even think that immersion is potentially, not necessarily an advantage, I can't say that, but a confidence booster, and it helps. Like when I'm in a race and iRacing, when I'm like with shoes on, gloves, strapped to the seat, versus just, you know, flop the headset on, don't really buckle up or anything. There's that seriousness factor that comes into it. And I think I actually drive better with all my gear on and strapped into the seat. So same thing with like Pavlov, I guess. If you had a gun stock, I feel like it'd be even better of an experience, or like a haptic feedback vest or something nuts. But again, I can do room scale in this thing for hours. I don't get eye strain in the in the G2. I don't get eye strain. I didn't get eye strain in the G2, nor do I get eye strain in the 8KX. Again, I did get eye strain in the Quest 2, but no heating issues, no movement issues. Again, moss was the only thing I actually noticed my neck starting to get a bit sore because I was looking down for so long, and that's why I felt like I should include it. But everything else is fine. Like I can play I can go from Beat Saber to Pavlov, do archery, do boxing in like all in one session, and then be, you know, perfectly fine coming out of the other side. So, and I am beyond out of shape these days, so I think this is a comfortable headset to do this type of stuff in personally, despite, again, like I said at the beginning of the video, it's basically like seeing it on people is almost comical because it's huge with a big light on it. It looks like there's some robot world, but you know, it's more agile, you know, than it seems. Like it's not flying off My glasses inside aren't like moving around. Like it's pretty near perfect. It's just a little bit heavy because of this, you know, the size of it. But it's not heavy to the point of discomfort where like you're gonna be completely cramped up, or as soon as you put it on, it's gonna be like, oh no way, like this is horrible, right? I can go hours in room scale games. Again, I can go the majority of a day in racing. So yeah, I think that's gonna be the last test for today. I just wanted to show a little bit of Beat Saber, but yeah. So let's exit out of here, and let's talk about, you know, overall findings, let's say. Alright guys, so we're back here just to kind of conclude on today's video. As you can see, this does happen. Like there's a little bit of like red around my head, red around my nose. That was normal for any VR. Again, not any discomfort. I mentioned before in my review video, the thin face foam did hurt my nose pretty badly actually, like it sucked. And then as soon as I put on the thick face foam, it was... even though there's a little bit of red here, I can sit in it all day. So that little extra thickness made all the difference for me in terms of comfort. However, you can see in the video that this is perfectly good for room scale type of VR as well. I think though, correct me if I'm wrong, but if anyone's going to be spending this kind of money on a headset, I'm just going to say odds are you're a simmer. You're not someone that's just getting into VR and wants to experience it, you know, play some Pop 1, have some fun. Like that'd be more of the Quest 2. And then I think Valve Index people who are doing some like shooting games and whatnot. But for this guy here, you're gonna be doing some sim stuff for sure if you're looking at the Pimax 8KX, because I believe it is the king of sims. I know that like Varjo headsets out, but you need like a subscription and it's like $3,000 or $4,000. So I don't even like consider that too much of a viable comparison at this point. But yeah, so that's it for the Pimax. Again, just this, you know, show the lens here again, just to see, you know, the width and everything that I see in there. Again, a lot of it's cropped out for the stream just so it looks good enough, because if you don't crop it out on Streamlabs OBS, it's like super wide. But yeah, I think it's perfectly good for room scale VR. However, I don't think that's necessarily its intent, but if the option's there, if you want to do some shooting games and you are a simmer, I mean, I wouldn't worry. Alright, so let me know if you have any questions. If there's any other videos you want to see, let me know. Thanks. Bye for now, guys. Take two.